Good morning, citizens, and welcome to my channel. I'm Vosbeck, and I'm going to show you how to find every single cave on Daymar. Did you know that Daymar has 36 known caves? I'll be covering half of them in this video and half of them in my next one. Don't forget to check out the end of the video if you want to learn alternate ways to find these caves, as well as some additional tips and tricks, and the solution to last week's chess puzzle. But I'm not here to waste your time, so let's go. Alright, first up is Cave 0. It's a sand cave that is in a kind of a double crater. The closest place you can jump to it to find it is Shubin Mining Facility SCD-1. Once there, set your compass to 21 and travel exactly 119 kilometers. As you're traveling, you can monitor the distance you've traveled in meters from your starting location in the top right corner of your star map, as long as the starting location has been selected, in this case the Shubin Mining Facility. So I'm using a little trick here that more advanced players in Star Citizen know about, and that is using box missions as sort of GPS locators. Space air tags, if you will. Unfortunately, there aren't many visual markers on the way to this cave. It's a lot of flat desert and canyons, and I felt like either the wind or some imbalanced thrusters kept drifting me off target. But eventually, right before you reach the cave, you'll see there's two craters almost lined up, pointing right at it. If you think you are close but you're having difficulty, check your distance to these orbital markers that are the exact distance to where you are headed. Next up is cave number 1. It's a normal cave except that it is hidden on a ridge among a mess of rocks. The closest place you can jump to is TPF. Be aware I'm showing you the closest jump points, not the safest, and this is a good example. Don't waste any time trespassing, as you will be fired upon. Once you're there, set your compass to 275 and travel for 173.2 kilometers. You'll pass through a mountain range, eventually passing a final mountain on your left as you head into more flatlands for about 26 more kilometers. At this point, look for the cave above a large set of rocky canyons, and again, use these orbital markers to help dial in the cave's position if you need the help. Cave 2 is a sand cave nestled in against the hillside. The closest jump point is Brio's Breaker Yard. Set your compass to 352 and travel for 97.4 kilometers. You'll pass some mountains off to the left and eventually arrive at a prominent hill where the cave is located. Check these orbital markers to dial it in. Cave 3 is a sand cave in a small canyon valley. The closest jump point is Shubin Mining Facility SCD-1. Set your compass to 25 and travel for 109.5 kilometers. While most of the trip is flatland, you will eventually come across a mountain range to the right around 27 kilometers from the cave. Keep going, and some larger hills will start to appear with lighter colored dirt on their tops. Look out for a canyon deeper and wider than the rest to find the cave, and again, here's those orbital marker distances to dial it in. Cave 4 is a regular rock cave located at the base of a large ridgeline. The closest jump point is ArcCorp Mining Area 141. Set your compass to 57 and travel 122.3 kilometers. At first, you'll travel over a vast desert. Eventually, hills will start to form around 55 kilometers from the cave. Then, you'll enter more flatland around 27 kilometers from the cave. From here, wait for some deeper canyons to appear, and shortly after, find the cave in one of the wider canyons. Again, use these orbital marker distances to dial in your location. Cave 5 is another sand cave, located in a crater. The closest jump point is Kudra Ore. Once there, set your compass to 78 and travel for 199.7 kilometers. You should pass between two mountains initially before passing more mountains into a flat plain. I'm headed toward the sun, but up ahead you should see a mountain in the distance that I will pass on the left. That's the halfway point. As we continue for a bit, we'll pass by a bunch of small scattered mountains. Keep going. As soon as the ground flattens out again, you're about 15 kilometers away from finding cave number 5, in a crater among a ton of rocks. Again, use the orbital markers if you need. Cave 6 is another sand cave located above a canyon next to a rock cluster. The closest jump point is again Kudra Ore. Once there, set your compass to 55 and travel for 154 kilometers. You'll pass over a lightly mountainous region before reaching the flatter canyons beyond. You should pass a single large mountain to the right, marking about 90 kilometers until your destination. Continuing forward, you'll pass over a large flat land of rocks. Once you start seeing canyons again, you're almost there. Keep an eye out for where the left side is flat and the right side is more rugged, and look down. Here are the orbital marker distances to dial it in. Cave 7 is a rock cave in a double crater. The closest jump point to it is the closed Kudra ore mine. Once there, set your compass to 81 and travel for only 55 kilometers. You should immediately pass a mountain just to your left and soon see some more mountains almost directly ahead. Once you fly between the last two mountains, you're only 7 kilometers away. Slow down and you should see the double craters straight ahead to the left of some canyons. And here are the orbital markers to dial it in. Cave 8 is a rock cave nestled in a flat sea of boulders. The closest jump point is again the closed Kudra ore mine. Once there, set your compass to 258 and travel for 216.7 kilometers. This one's pretty far, but keep flying past all the flat rocky nothingness and eventually you'll see two mountains up ahead. Passing between those two marks about 140 kilometers left. Keep heading into the vast rocky flat nothingness for a while. If you're on target, you should eventually reach a spot where a mountain range develops to your right and flat desert is on your left with you in between. After passing some mountains, the terrain should shift to where the mountains are now on the left and the flatlands are now on the right. The cave should only be 25 kilometers away now. Keep an eye out for it as you head into its neighborhood, an area of flatlands and boulders. Cave 9 is yet another sand cave, this time in the mountains. The closest jump point is Tamden Plains Aid Shelter. Once there, set your compass due north and travel for 179 kilometers. At first, it'll all be plain and flat, but eventually, you should be splitting between the mountains on your left and the flatlands to the right. Eventually, the flatlands take over. Keep going until you see more mountains appear straight ahead. Nestled in those mountains is Cave 9. Cave 10 is a sand cave located next to a long stretch of large rocks. The closest jump point is Brio's Breaker Yard. Once there, set your compass to 206 and travel for 161 kilometers. At first, you will travel over an expansive, flat, rocky nothing. Eventually, the terrain will shift to become slightly darker with more hills and canyons. As the small mountains quickly give way to the hills and rocks, keep an eye out for your destination. Cave 11 is another sand cave in a flat sea of boulders. The closest jump point is Security Post Preshed. This is another hostile location, so don't waste any time. Once there, set your compass to 173 and travel for 249.7 kilometers. This is the longest we've traveled so far. You'll travel over a few large mountain ranges until the land becomes flat and rocky, at which point you should be only 22 kilometers from your destination. Cave 12 is a sand cave perched on the side of a mountain. The closest jump point is TPF. Be careful, it's hostile. Once there, set your compass to 343 and travel for only 50.6 kilometers. This one's quick. Initially, you'll pass over several mountains in the local mountain range, but you should soon see a more jagged mountain than the others straight ahead. Cave 12 is just on its opposite slope. Cave 13 is a rock cave in a shallow crater. The closest jump point is NT 99916, another hostile location. Once there, set your compass to 133 and travel 54.5 kilometers. There aren't any major markers on the way, but the closest nearby crater has a rocky outline that may catch your eye. Cave 14 is my nemesis. It's a rock cave between some hills, but I think 14 might be my unlucky number as it took me forever to get this one for you guys. My ship killed me, 30k, all of it. Anyway, the closest jump point is Bountiful Harvest Hydroponics. Once there, set your compass to 114 and travel for 98.8 kilometers. You'll travel over a vast stretch of hills and mountains. Eventually, you'll reach a mountain slightly larger and more pronounced than the rest, and you should only be about 7 kilometers from the cave, which lies just at the base of the very next mountain. Cave 15 is a sand cave in the flatlands just outside of a crater. The closest jump point is Tamden Plains Aid Shelter. Once there, set your compass to 7 and travel for 83.2 kilometers. It's mostly flat and unremarkable, but about 30 kilometers from your destination, you should briefly pass over some canyons before it all becomes flat again. A small hill may catch your eye just to the right, which is about 4 kilometers before your destination. Cave 16 is another sand cave, located in a large flat area all by itself. The closest jump point is Neuen Waste Management. Once there, set your compass due south and travel for 82 kilometers. After passing over the first prominent hill, you'll advance past several mountains and into a vast flat plain of many rocks. As soon as the rocks give way to plain flat ground, you should only be about 4 kilometers from your destination. Cave 17 is another sand cave, located in a crater among a vast flat area with scattered rocks. The closest jump point is Wolf Point Aid Shelter. Once there, set your compass due west and travel for 131 kilometers. You'll soon come across a vast flat area of rocks. Eventually, some mountains should appear far to the left. When you pass those mountains, you're roughly 50 kilometers from your destination. Keep looking straight over the flat rocky plains and you'll eventually reach your destination. There aren't many landmarks nearby, so make use of these orbital marker distances to dial in your location. And that's just the first 18 caves. We've got 18 more coming up, and I'm almost done with that video, so yeah, stay tuned. If you're wondering how I found these caves in the first place, let me tell you, the Verse Guide. It's an amazing site. I have no affiliation with it. Apparently they're not affiliated with Star Citizen, but oh my god, this site is amazing. It shows you the coordinates of every location you can think of, as well as temperatures, current daylight cycles, and yes, all 36 cave locations on Daymar alone. The only problem I saw was the navigation instructions. The way that they tell you to locate them, it's kind of confusing in my opinion. What they make you do is use the orbital markers exclusively. Like, they tell you to start at one orbital marker, and then you get right up to it, and then you fly toward another orbital marker, and then unto a certain point yourself toward the planet, maybe fly in reverse a little bit, and then point yourself at another orbital marker, fly toward that for a while. Anyway, it can take a while, and it uses up quite a bit of hydrogen fuel sometimes. So I thought to myself, there's got to be a better way, more simple instructions, something that I would want to see, and maybe other people would rather use too. And that's when I realized I could use these delivery boxes as GPS trackers to pinpoint these caves for you all and find the closest jump point. So if you guys want to travel to it over land, you have that option. Now, if you're like me and you can't fight the urge to find all the new caves using the triangulation method that they have, I have a few tips. First, make sure that you are precisely pointed at each given target. Each ship's HUD is a little different, but for me and my Mercury Star Runner, it's actually a little confusing, as there's this big circular reticule for the quantum drive, right? But this is the actual center of where my ship is pointed. Over vast distances, this discrepancy can add up and throw you way off target. Another tip is to figure out how far in kilometers it takes for you to come to a stop at the moment you cut off the throttle. For me and my Mercury Star Runner, it takes about 26 kilometers. So when it says to point to OM2 and fly toward it until there's a distance of 347 kilometers, for example, I'll add 26 to that, making that 373 kilometers, and just let off the gas then, and I'll coast to a stop very close to what I need to be at. And that's it. I guess I should have part 2 done in just a few days, so stay tuned for that. Also, congrats to last video's chess puzzle winner, Mellow Player, and the answer, if you want to know, was White Queen to c4, White Queen to c1, and White Knight to b3 to reach a checkmate in 3. Nice work, dude. So I have your Hadanite ready to go over here. I've collected as much as I could, and I've got over 1,000 Hadanite gems for you. And now what I wanted to do was like just fill up a bunch of backpacks with Hadanite and then like make you go find it. But I don't trust the servers right now to be able to do these the little treasure hunt like that. So I suppose I'll just cash them in and send you the money now. Damn it. It's not letting me do anything. Oh, here we go. 312,000 Alpha UEC coming at you, Mellow Player. Good job. If you guys like that kind of stuff, let me know. Otherwise, I got some caves to find. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. And don't you dare like and subscribe.